You guys seen Grayson Waller? You got that Dusty Cup later? Kick ass, man. Somebody hit my music.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! Fuck you, PrizePicks!
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks! All the shit, man, I hate enough! Fuck you, PrizePicks! My whole clique about to fuck you up! Fuck you, PrizePicks! Population, we are not the same! Fuck you, PrizePicks! We get to win and take everything! Logging in, make my picks, I'm about to get this spread. It makes me harder than Candace Parker giving me head. Rage fed, if I don't win, then I'ma come pick you up. Cartwheel into the bridge, if we a fam, then we all jump. Betty under hope, she rolls her knees or ends up dead. Whatever it takes, I'm trying to make this money with my friends. WNBA season, so much free you won't believe. Join in Discord, you can pay a top support and more. At least I'm kidding, we really winning the ghost of the industry. Johnny and Clyde, they don't want the smoke, we taking all their money. Ain't no selling now. Population, we are not the same, we do this every day now. Everybody say, fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Fuck you, PrizePicks.
Well, I've had enough.
Fuck you, PrizePicks. You can keep your rotten taco. Fuck you, PrizePicks. Bob and Johnny, that's your motto. Fuck you, PrizePicks. If you really wanna win, fuck you, PrizePicks. Come and rock with population.
Fuck you, you piece of shit. Fuck you. Fuck you, you piece of shit.
And here we go.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Balking Dead, guys. It is Tuesday, and are you not fucking entertained? Are you not entertained? I mean, we only had 3 a game slate yesterday, 2 guests on, and no one lost money, as well as the Titty Capper play of the day landing dead on 7, like I said. We are seeing the board as clear as we should be with all the numbers and knowledge of this game that I have. And we say it all the time on this show. We are 0-0 today. Yesterday was nice, but yesterday is also over with, and it's about what do we do today. And today, guys, we have Ribeyes with Mike back for an encore on his normal Tuesday spot, where yesterday on an impromptu bullpen call, he just showed up, went 3-1, plus 3.7 units. I mean, yeah. I've said it 100 times, guys. He is the last Megalodon living. And if you guys are starting to get it, you are starting to see it now with your own 2 eyes. And since he's been a part of this show, guys, this show has gotten 100 times better. It's because we have 2 guys winning on both sides of the game of this game now, guys. As I've always understood pitching. Shit, I used to coach it. Yet I've never been good at hitting props, and I never was good at hitting a baseball either, guys. So we do have a few guys that are good at hitting props on this show. I'm about to move this fucking Megalodon to great, as though my bank account loves him. I get it. Enough, Sharpie. Enough stroking off another man metaphorically, as that ain't what I'm about. But you do got to give credit where it is due. This show is sponsored by W. It's a clean energy powder with no come down to your day. And by going to W.com, you will get 10% off your first order by using the best promo code on God's green earth. Pub Sports, that is. On this show, guys, we will talk the first line of a K-prop that came out, and then the best line 30 minutes prior to the show. And then we will compare it and see where the books are compared to PrizePicks, as well as this show being sponsored by PrizePicks. Go on over there if you haven't used that promo code. You will get a first-time deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. Shout out to the chat. 40 live, 25 likes. That's actually a good ratio for you guys just jumping in here. Smash that like button if you can. It does help people find out about the Balking Dead, the best MLB prop show on God's green earth. We don't just win you money, we save you money. If you are a capper, you're going to get better. As why? We don't hide how we get there, guys. We give you our breakdowns. We tell you why we stay off, what we're looking for, or why we're getting on. And enough small talk. Let's start talking what I love, a little bit of baseball. First one up in the book is Hunter Greene at the Guardians, number 12 in the black book, striking people out this year 31.5%, while walking people 10% of the time. Open them up 6.5 plus 124 on FanDuel, where the best line available is now 5.5 at minus 149 at Caesars. PrizePicks has them at a 6, whereas pitching outs under over are at a 17. Lineup just came out prior to the show, 7 lefties, 2 righties. We start the day, guys, with Hunter Greene at the Guardian, and it's a do we want to fuck around and find out type of play. We know, guys, the Guardians are a no-fly zone. And over the last 15 days, they're bottom 5 in not striking out, top 5 in walking, yet not hitting for the life of them, as they also are bottom 5 in the isolated power department. We know by now, guys, all year the Guardians have been one tough cookie to run a K-prop versus. They lead the league in making contact when they chase, as well as being top 10 and not whiffing. If it ain't just this year, guys, it's been a few years that these Guardians have been considered a no-fly zone. So let's go check out how Greene has done versus these other no-fly zones this year, as he's faced the Mets back in May when they were a no-fly zone, and Greene only had 4 strikeouts in 4.1 innings. Now, guys, he also faced the Astros, another no-fly zone versus righties. He had 6 solid innings, yet only had 3 strikeouts, yet he went to the IL after that game for a few months. So I don't know if he was hurt or was it a no-fly zone. After that game, guys, he was out for a long time. And then when he came off the IL, he just wasn't right. He got hit hard a few times, but yet the last 4 games, he seems to be the guy that we know. And when he's faced the other teams who have been super tough to strike out this year, he slayed the Cardinals 2 times, having 9 strikeouts in both, as well as 9 versus a Boston team who's been a bitch to hit K-props at certain times of the year. So it is definitely there for this man to hit the over. It's just, do we really want to fuck around and find out? And the lineups came out, guys, and I thought that, with the 7 lefties they were going to put out there, that, I might want to fuck around and find out, as this man has a 36% career strikeout rate versus lefties. That's Strider-esque right there. Now, I went through the lineup one by one, and, man, there's 3 guys striking out in this lineup. Okay, I get it. It's the Guardians. They don't strike out. Now they have 5 guys that are just walking at a stupid fucking clip, as well as 4 guys hitting. So I don't want to fuck around and find out is what that says. Now, if you want to play him, I would say play the plus money, as he either hits 7 or not. I believe he's not hitting the 6 if he don't hit 7. Now, I don't want to go under with 7 lefties, as this man slays lefties for a living. Good pitching beats good hitting. Now, I don't want to fuck around and find out. I get it if you do. I could only look over, but I shall let him be. The next guy on the book, lineups came out 2 right before the show, but I didn't have time to run that lineup, and I will start running that lineup when we start talking the hitting props. And this is Lucas Giolito versus the Reds, the other side of this matchup. Number 30 in the black book is striking people out 26% of the time while walking people 8.5% on the year. Open them up 6.5 at even money on FanDuel, where the best line available is on MGM to that 6.5, now at a -120. PrizePicks has them a 6.5, whereas pitching outs under over are at a 17.5 on PrizePicks. The projected lineup is no longer projected, as it was projected 5 lefties, 4 righties, and it switched to 5 righties, 4 lefties. We get Giolito versus the Reds for the second time this year. We're back in August, guys. We were on him that day, and he went 6 innings and had 9 strikeouts. And when I look at the lineup's numbers when he faced them, they were walking, smashing the ball with a team isolated power of 200, yet striking out 26% of the time. As well as that lineup having whiff in it and a bunch of guys, I believe it was 7 guys in that lineup that did not make contact when they chased that day. And that's why we played him. Now, guys, when we look at the Reds' overall numbers, they're walking tops of the league. They're not hitting the ball with a team isolated power of $150, yet they are striking out damn near 25.5% of the time. So it looks like we can get in if we want in. So let's just go check up on the line to make sure that the books are not playing no games. As if we just straight go off of his win percentage to the 6.5, that would equate to +110 before they added in tax. And they only added in 10 to 25 cents of tax due to the Reds strikeouts numbers. And that was due to what they projected. Once the lineup came out, it moved another 20 cents. So now it's gone up 45 cents to where if you would drop it straight out as win percentage. So that tells me there's no fishy shit going on here. The books are doing what they're supposed to do. So I will go through lineup by lineup as we start, batter by batter through this lineup, as I didn't have time. And I'm looking for guys that are 1.5% worse than league average, at not making contact when they chase, as well as I don't want to see more than 3 people walking at an elite clip, because if Giolito doesn't hit this K prop today, it is because he walks himself out the building. As the K percentage seems like it's there, I would like to make sure it's there in the lineup, as the overall numbers don't always equate to what the lineup numbers will be. And then I want to go through that lineup one by one and check out that chase contact. So I am looking to bet Giolito over, and I will let you know by the end of the show, as I should be able to run that through while Big Mike talks some hitting. Last guy on the board that we will talk before we get into these hitting props is today, guys. I broke down 7 pitchers. We normally do 6. Sometimes we do 4, 5, 3. Why? Because it depends on the slate, and my boss is cooler than yours, and he doesn't force me to do nothing. I break down the games I want to break down on this show because these are my bets. This show's about what I am doing, and appreciate you all who have tailed and hung out for the full 2 years, guys, as this show has built into a badass prop show. So smash that like if you haven't. Make sure you hashtag WeBePubbing in your best bets or any questions that you have for me. That way I know which comments to scroll through at the end of the show. Aaron Nola versus the Pirates, number 15 in the black book, is striking people out 25% of the year while walking people 6% of the time. Morning line was 6.5 minus 140 on DraftKings, where the best line available to that 6.5 is minus 150 on BetMGM. PrizePicks has him at a 7 flat, whereas hits allowed under over are a 4.5. Projected lineup is 5 lefties and 4 righties. We get Nola, guys, versus the Pirates now for the second time this year. We're back in July. He got rolled up and smoked, not making it 5 innings, giving up 5 earned runs while striking out 6, versus the lineup who was smashing the ball with an isolated power of 220, striking out 30% of the time. Now, guys, when we look at these Pirates numbers over the last 15 days, it's actually almost identical. Isolated powers 200-ish, yet they're not striking out 30% anymore. It's now 24.5% of the time, and they are walking top 5 in the league. Now let's go look at what the books are doing with this K prop line, as they have a juiced out 6.5. And if we go off of win percentage, Nola has to the over 6.5 10 games. Once again, it's a 40% win rate, which equates to a plus 110 before you add in the tax. And they're adding in a boatload of tax just for a 24.5% strikeout rate, guys. So let's just go check out the past history. As we know, past history can trump the overall K percentage when we're making the lines here. So the past history, guys, I can't really take shit into it. Yes, there's a combined 34 at bats in this projected lineup, and it's less than a 19% strikeout rate. And the books aren't paying attention to that either. And I'm going to tell you why I don't and why the books probably don't. Most of that was from one game, guys. He had one bad game versus the Pirates in July. I just told you that in the beginning of this breakdown. Now, there's only 2 people on this team who've seen him more than that one game. And Reynolds is striking out damn near 50% of his at-bats, where the other guy has chipped in some as well. So the past history is very, very, very fraudulent, and it was one bad game for Nola. Now, excuse my language. Now, what do the books see? The books are telling me that he's going to have a great game, that his outs are at 17.5, where he's only hit the over of that 3 out of his last 10 games. So they're asking you to bet the under on his outs, and they bumped up his strikeouts. And I get why they jumped up his strikeouts. They didn't jump it up. They added juice on. There's a difference between jumping up and adding in juice, as a big difference. And the fact that the matter is, they added in the juice because over the last month, the Pirates in the zone are bottom 5 at missing pitches inside the zone, straight out whiffing inside the zone. Now, over Nola's last 4 games, he's 3% better than league average at throwing pitches in the zone. So everything says in the back analytical part that, yes, if this man goes 6 innings, he should have 7, 8, 9 strikeouts today. So I get it if you're on Aaron Nola. Me, myself, I did not put that bet in yet. I may be looking towards his outs over the 17.5. I would like to see the lineup, go through it one by one, and do the due diligence, as because of doing the due diligence is why we are hitting over 70%. We're listening to the books. That isn't the key factor in my bets, even though I know some people who bet that way. And if you bet it every fucking time, you're going to hit it 70%. Me personally, I pick my spots. I listen. It's a great tool to have. I'll run if they're telling me something weird more often than not. Like, I didn't bet Blake Snell under 7.5 last night. My role is either you let it go or you fade it. But I know a lot of people do fade it because it's 70% the way these books when they have an open arms to a one-way prop. Now, they don't have that here. I was just saying that. They have actually added in an extra 50 cents of juice on Nola, moved them up to on some books to a 7.5, strictly because of the Pirates' analytical numbers over the last month. Now, guys, we get to the part of the show where we talk of some hitting props. Not just any hitting prop segment, the one that these other shows wish they had. The hottest thing going on the internet, and that's the last Megalodon living. A man who don't eat white meat unless it's vagina. And I'm talking ribeyes with Mike.
I didn't want salmon! I said it 4 times! Wedding is horseshit.
Hey, I got you to smile right there, I bet, huh?
Sugar Sharpie, what's up, my guy? Thanks for the intro. That's a hell of an intro. And I hope I can fit the billing. You know what I mean? That's what it comes down to.
Quit that fit the billing shit, bro. Everybody, bro, is making money off of your ribeyes, bro. Like, fuck the bullshit, especially on these Tuesday spots when you actually have a whole card to scrub. I've seen you send me a card and then tell me, fuck you, Sharpie, I need to redo it. Because you really, I know you probably bet 10, 12 RBIs a day, but you fucking care about giving away the ones that win. And the fact that you could zone in on being a volume capper, and not many volume cappers can zone in and give you 3-4 winners. They just can't, bro. I've seen it. I'll pull their card 100 times. You're the first one, bro, who's a volume fucking better, who can zone in and fucking hit at a great rate. Even when you go 2 for 2, you make money. But nights like yesterday, 3 and 1, fuck, bro, almost a 4-unit day, bro. Get the fuck out of here, bro. I can't do that betting pitching props.
And sadly enough, the season is winding itself down, at least for regular season play. But we still have a few more days. We still have a few more games to go, and I'm excited. You know, this is one of those things where kind of the evolution and starting to get into these hitting props has been a lot of fun, and it's made a lot of profit. So, you know, hopefully we can continue to roll it forward. It's not about what you did yesterday, right? It's about what we're doing today and how we have our bankroll taken care of for tomorrow. So that being said, I'm going to open this card up here, and I'm going to open it up with the spot that I'm a little apprehensive about, but I'm going to open it up with our team in the Kansas City Royals versus the Detroit Tigers. The 313 is hosting this game. They got about 10 miles an hour of wind at Comerica Park, banging out to the left field. And where I went with this game here was maybe a little square. You guys have heard me talk about him before, but you've seen a ton of people jumping on him as of late. And I had to go with Bobby Witt Jr. Bobby Witt Jr., 3 at-bats, 2 hits, a home run, and a ribby against Reese Olson. You know, Reese Olson's coming off of back-to-back wins. I'm a little apprehensive about this game, particularly because, yes, the bats have been hot for Kansas City, but going back over the last 3 years, I have this pegged to a dead under, 0-7-1 to the under, and it's been going under by almost 5 runs. So it's a little out there, but the number that I was able to get for this Bobby Witt spot was plus 165. So I felt the risk reward was there. He's in the 2 spot. But what we've seen here is he's the highest hitting batter in terms of success rate against a rarely seen Reese Olson on that Detroit Tigers side of the bound. But I do feel like it's a good spot for Bobby. You know, Salvatore Perez was another guy I went to, but you know how I like to roll here. I like to look at these guys that have had success. They've been efficient and effective. And Salvatore Perez with 3 at-bats, no hits, no home runs, and no ribbies, to me, shot me right up to the 2-hole there and taking Bobby Witt Jr. plus 165.
Nice way to start the day, man. Who can't hate freaking Captain America? And I call that guy Captain America because you don't bring a 20-year-old onto the world baseball team because he's going to be your new captain one day, guys. That's what that says, bro. So Bobby Witt Jr. is the soon-to-be captain of the United States baseball team when it comes to the World Baseball Classic, bro. So love me that kid. I love everything about him.
I'm rolling on to game number 2 is going to be this Arizona Diamondbacks White Sox spot. Good opportunity tonight here. I shared this number earlier today on one of the shows that was popping off about Arizona. First game of a series when they're kind of a middle favorite with a total that's over or equal to or greater than 8. is 23-0 on the money line, covering that spread or the money line straight up by 3.5 runs. They're 20-3 on the run line as well. I like that price on the run line here. The White Sox, have all but packed it in at this point. But when we play the RBI game, we go back to picking on the weak link and trying to maximize the guys that have that success. And Ketel Marte, switch hitter, 7 at-bats against Arena, 4 hits, no home runs, but he does have a ribeye. He's in the 2-hole. He's hitting a batting average of .571. The traditional guys are going to give you Corbin Carroll. You'll see Christian Walker, who I do like down there in that 4-hole. But in this case, I had to go with Marte from a X's and O's perspective here, right? He's priced at plus 160. So he's right outside of that sweet spot range that we've been capitalizing on all freaking season. What's he doing against the NL? He's got 6 games played against the NL. He's put up 21 earned runs. So the guy's effective as all get out. He's got 3 RBIs in his last 4 games as well. So it's a hot batter on a team that should get the job done. I expect runs in this game, at least for the Arizona side, and I think it's going to be leading the way with Ketel Marte at plus 160.
Man, plus 160 seems like the freaking spots for you today, huh, bro? We gonna got some sweet spot because the sweet spot cashed in the first inning, I think, on both of them, bro. Like, fuck, man. Yeah, bro.
Tricky card today. I do have one sweet spot for us.
In under games.
What's that? Sorry, I was talking over you.
What? Oh, I said, how'd you hit all your hitting props in the under games on games that went under? like
Dude,
what the?
We didn't have any choice. There was only 3 games, and they were all talking about under spots. They were playoff matchups, but we nailed that Seattle game. I think right dead to nuts. It was one of those situations where that breeze is just enough of a factor for guys that are strategic and calculated to be able to get it done. And
bro,
they were.
I straight up said Wood would give up 3 runs, and I jumped on the under, bro, live. It was like, yeah. Dude, these happen. They have hiccups. You have a fucking Verlander had the bases loaded and got out of it. You have a bad inning, bro. They're there.
That's what's so glorious about it is you have an opportunity to touch the game without being fully invested in a side. I've seen some sides fall apart on me, like the Arizona Diamondbacks yesterday. Speaking of those Arizona Diamondbacks playing the New York Yankees,
bro, I live bet that shit under, and they fucking
puked it up in the last 3 innings in a row, and it was just a disgusting spot. But again, we're moving forward. We're going to throw the focus on game number 3 here. The St. Louis Cardinals, having a tough time talking today with the Milwaukee Brewers. Cardinals-Brewers matchup, and everybody likes the Brewers. They're home. They're so dominant at home. But what they do have coming up here is they're going up against a lefty in Zach Thompson. And with Adrian Hauser on the bump, although he's been effective, we look at these guys in the 2 spot again. It feels like I'm picking on the 2 spot today, but Paul Goldschmidt, for me, as a righty, has 31 at-bats against Adrian Hauser. He's hit the ball off him 9 times, so he's making contact at almost a 300 rate. He's got 3 home runs. He's got 12 ribbies. I don't know that it's as much of a play on St. Louis as much as I just think it's an opportunity that we see some runs. These games in the division have been tightly contested, but I think with this time of the year, it's go for broke time. We got some teams that are pushing. We got some guys that are looking for contract incentives. And a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, who makes a boku amount of dollars, has a lot of back-end deals tied to those incentives to be able to maximize another $4, $5, $6 million on the back end of his contract. So I like a Paul Goldschmidt spot. Paul Goldschmidt's at plus 180. I couldn't resist that number given the success that he's had against Adrian Hauser in a game I expect to see some runs in.
I hate Adrian Hauser personally. Last year, I made a lot of good money fading his bitch ass, because that's what I like to do. Fade guys like him. As last year, lefties who hit the ball, just put the ball in play off of him, batted 380, bro. Oh, God, that's disgusting. Now, Paul Goldschmidt ain't a lefty. I know that guy. Yeah, I'm not Patrick from SpongeBob. But at the end of the day, bro, what I'm getting at, bro, is there's a lefty that leads off, which means Paul Goldschmidt is right behind that dude. So get on base, Lars. Get on base.
And very well can see that just hits a home run right off the gate there to open the scoring up. And then probably do they come back and lose the game? Yeah, I mean, that's kind of what I've seen when I seem to bet on St. Louis. So I'm not betting on St. Louis, but I am betting on Paul Goldschmidt. So, that brings us to game number 4. I got a 5-pack for you guys today. Again, give me the full card. Give me an opportunity to look at the numbers all morning without any really distractions other than that Colorado Rockies first 5 that I was on. And I'm going to take a look at this Padres-Giants game. Now, here's the thing about the Giants and the Padres. I talked about this yesterday and said the one thing the team does well is play baseball. Well, you could argue they don't play baseball very well either. They lost a low-scoring game, but I did feel that was the under spot. I talked to you guys about Logan Webb as a pitcher when he's at home in San Francisco, and he's playing against a team that, clearly has had the wheels fall off here in the San Diego Padres. But what we did do, and a team that scored 1 run, is we got that RBI with Manny Machado right off the hop. That was a huge victory early. He was, I think, the first guy in the RBIs to cash, even though it was, late games out there, and it was good plus money. So where am I going today? I'm not going to go to Manny. I'm going to let Manny take the night off for us, and I'm going to focus on Juan Soto. You asked for it. I'm going to give it to you in our sweet spot at plus 145. Harrison's on the bound for the San Francisco Giants, but guess what? He gets rocked when he plays San Diego. He did go 5 innings, but he gave up 6 earned runs. He gave up 4 home runs. So for Juan Soto to be priced at plus 145, it's our sweet spot play of the day. I feel like he's got the best opportunity of all to get there for us. And that's going to bring us to the 5th and final ribby.
Yeah, well, before you get to the 5th and final ribby, that's one guy that I do bet on, and I straight crossed out for the under over. I didn't even want to get involved as, dude, he can get fucking schmacked and hit the K prop, or schmacked and not hit the K prop, as in teams that hit lefties have been beating the dog piss out of this kid, man. Like, I was high on him at first because he is the highest touting lefty coming out, the highest prospected lefty, but the kid only throws 94. And when you throw 94, bro, that ain't that fast in the big leagues. And when you got location problems, and if the team's going to be patient, you're going to have ducks on the pond from walks, and you're going to get fucking knocks, bro, if you just wait for the ball to come in the zone. 94 ain't getting past you. So I'm not that high up on him right now. I'm really not.
Well, you know how I roll when it comes to my guy. I'm a sucker for Kyle Tucker.
Yes. We're fucking Kirby in the eye hole today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I think it's a great Houston spot. Playoff matchup, which we saw yesterday, but we saw that the better team prevailed. They're trying to get their swagger back as they get in and ready for October. I've got a spot here with Kyle Tucker. He's got 7 at-bats out there against Kirby. He's hit the ball 4 times, 1 RBI. He's hitting .571. In terms of players that have seen Kirby, he's got the most looks, the most success, and the price for this guy at plus 165 made a ton of sense. In his last 6 games, he's got 2 home runs and 6 RBIs. He's faced Seattle 9 times this year. He's gotten 6 RBIs against Seattle as well. So he does not get scared. It's big-time player situations right now, and we need the big-time players to step up. Kyle Tucker is very much that big-time player for the Houston Astros. And a series they need because they've got Seattle nipping at their heels, trying to kind of push them off and take that wild card spot as well. So why not shut down a team that potentially gives you a challenge as you move into the postseason? Come out there swinging hard. We got Altuve and Bregman in front of him. He's in the 3-hole with success against Kirby. I think it's going to be a tough day for Kirby when he faces that top of the order for the Houston Astros.
Yeah. So appreciate you guys all for tuning in. 80 plus live, not 80 likes, but 55 ain't too damn shabby. So hit that like button if you can, as well as hashtag we be pubbing in your best bets or any questions, and I will get to them at the end of the show. That way I know which ones to scroll through. If you're just showing up for the recap, guys, Mike got a 5-pack for that ass. We got filet mignon to some beef chuck for you poor people, dog. So Bobby Witt Jr. going to start the day at plus 165 for ribeyes with Mike, and he's going to head on over to the Diamondbacks, and he's going to stay with that plus 160 and take Kettle Marte. Then the value play, guys, is Goldilocks. Nah, not the one who fucking took your porridge, guys. Paul Goldschmidt, his ribeyes at plus 180. And then we get to the sweet spot. Oh, the sweet stuff. And we talking Juan Soto, guys, plus 145 of the San Diego Padres. And we going to finish the day off with a guy that I'm going to fade, a guy my guy's going to fade, and he going to take Kyle Tucker RBI at plus 165 as well. Appreciate you, Mike, as always. Smash that freaking like, guys. This guy shows up for free, comes out and gives you fucking winners. If you do not follow him, Pimp Slap Play of the Day, POD, Pimp Slap POD. Go follow this man on Twitter. He tweets out all his action. He freaking very transparent with his records. And yeah, appreciate you for coming on as always. I don't know how many more days we got of baseball, but I'll fucking call you in as many times as we can.
We'll find those opportunities, Sharpie. As always, I appreciate you for giving me the opportunity here, brother. And I'm excited. We're just kind of coming down to the close of a solid MLB season. Sad but true, and looking forward to continuing to do it again as we move into next season with a full winter slate of sports. So we're not there yet, but let's get this cash today. We got a 5-pack out there. You guys know the deal. I love to hit the straight up plays. I like to get the RBI. I like to throw a half unit on the home runs, parlay those things together. Bet responsibly, and I'll see you guys around the Pub Sports Network. Best damn shows in the capping business. Appreciate all you guys in the chat for showing up to support our guy Sharpie as well. Hit that like and retweet. Doesn't cost you a cent, but you guys know it definitely helps get Pub Sports on the map. So appreciate you guys, and I'll see everybody soon.
Yes, sir.
I didn't want
Peace.
salmon. I said it 4 times. Wedding is horseshit.
For those showing up, we just finished with Ribeyes with Mike. You're more than welcome to rewind it, as we did recap it at the end of his segment. We already talked 3 pitchers, as I didn't want to fuck around and find out with our boy Hunter Greene. And I was doing the lineup for Giolito, and those who can live bet K props, I think this is a spot for you, as the top 3 guys in this lineup are elite at making contact when they chase, as well as the last batter. So if he gets through the top of the lineup, no strikeouts, the meat of the lineup is in the next one. Every freaking one of these guys is anywhere from 3% to fucking 15% worse than league average when it comes to making contact. Now, I didn't get to fuck around and go through each person batter by batter, but I could tell you I won't be on the 6.5 personally, as I talk about lineup construction. And when you see the top of the lineup the most, I can't bet live, so I won't be able to get in on a better number if he doesn't hit a K prop, but he's going to see India, Friedel, and Steer the most. And those are the guys that are elite, as well as the back end and Malley. So, is what it is. Can he hit it? Yes. That's why I'm not going to just go straight no. Those guys in the 4 through 8 hole can literally strike out 3 times each themselves. So I get it if you are on the over in Giolito. Now let's talk about the last 4 guys. As I normally do 6. Today I did 7 because I wanted to do 8, but I didn't get to the time to get to Detmers. So I will do Detmers after the show for myself. Then we get into Kevin Gausman, the guy who paid rent for us last week, guys. Number 6 in the black book versus the Yankees, striking people out 31.5%, while walking people 7% of the time. Open them up at 7.5 minus 115 on DraftKings, where the best line available was 7.5 minus 110 on BetMGM. Row. PrizePicks has them at a taco, 6.5. We all know, guys, you fucking tacos are no bueno. Hits allowed under over are a 4.5 on PrizePicks. Projected lineup is 7 righties and 2 lefties. Now we get the spot guys that paid our rent last week. Gausman versus the Yankees on a back-to-back after he just went out there and had a 10-piece mixed strider, as well as the 2 prior times seeing them this year having 10 and 11 strikeouts respectfully. And we all know, guys, my 2 rules on a back-to-back by now. Rule number 1 is the books do not change a line on a back-to-back, as Gausman was a 7.5 last week, and he is the 7.5 again today. So all good there. Doesn't matter if you have 10 like Gausman did or if he would have had 5. They don't fucking change back-to-backs unless weird shit happens. Let me talk to you. So, the other rule of mine is if a guy has a above average or career day, I have to let him go or look to the under, unless he has shown otherwise on back-to-backs in his previous history. That's why baseball's so great. So when I go through his back-to-backs, guys, he had 1 last year where he had 8 strikeouts in the first game and followed it up with 10. Yet 8 isn't too far off the man's average, guys. So yeah, you could have went over off of that 8 and not felt like it was a trap. Last week, guys, he had an above average day. As over his last 10 games, he's averaging 7.7 strikeouts a game. Now, I'm not going under, I'll tell you that. But I've got to let it be, guys, is yes, the career strikeout percentage is in this lineup. It's disgusting, as well as we get Kevin Gausman on 5 days rest, where in 6 games this year, he's allowed a total of 3 earned runs, struck out 64 batters and 40 innings of work. So unless I get 2 different batters, guys, which my rule is 3 usually, I'll break it for this K percentage and him on this K percentage in the lineup, that is, and him on extra rest if they give me 2 extra batters that were not in the not in the lineup the last time he faced him. Other than that, guys, I just got to let it be and be okay with it. As last week, it was a pay your rent type bet with Kevin Gausman. Now we get into a what the hell is going on spot. Braxton Garrett at the Mets. 59 in the black book, striking people out at a 24% clip while walking people 4% on the year. Opened them up 5.5 plus 118 on FanDuel. That's still the best line and still at FanDuel. PrizePicks has him at a 5.5, where his pitching outs on PrizePicks are at a 16.5 to the under over. Excuse me. Projected lineup is 6 righties and 3 lefties. So we get Braxton Garrett on a back-to-back with the Mets after he went out there and had a solid 6 innings of no-run ball while striking out 7. And we know, guys, we just talked the 2 rules on a back-to-back. We just talked about it with Gausman. And over the last 10 games, Braxton is only striking people out 5 times a game. And he just had himself 7. So he did have an above-average type of day. So that tells me to leave him be just on that. Then we talk about the books don't fuck with the first K-prop line, whether the guy has a good game or a bad game. And they fucked with this guy's K-prop line, guys. Last week, Braxton Garrett was a 4.5. Braxton Garrett was a 4.5 for the 5 weeks prior. Braxton Garrett has only averaged 5 strikeouts over his last 10. So the books are fucking with Braxton's line, guys. And what I'm reading into these books, guys, is they want us to bet the under, as he's only averaged 5 strikeouts his last 10, yet they jumped his K-prop up on a back-to-back, which they don't do that to people. Now, I'm not the guy who bets what the books are saying. I like to use it as a tool, as I'm already going to stay off, guys, because he had the above-average day versus the Mets, and that's a rule of mine already. And the fact that the books are begging you to bet the under here is a reason why you probably shouldn't bet the under right here, as the only reason and the data that I have off of this, guys, is over the last 45 days, they've only fucked with 3 guys back-to-backs that I bet on, and I only bet on 64 guys. And in those 3 games, every one of those guys went under. And some of them had 2 strikeouts in the first inning and didn't hit their 5.5s that day. So it's hard to tell you to go over when the books are begging you to go under here. I would just say stay the fuck away from this game. Stay as far away from this game as you can, as I will go track this game again and see if once again, another time when a books fuck with another man's K-prop on a back-to-back, does it go under? Now, I wanted to bet it over. He had the two above what he's been averaging, so I just have to let it be. And the book's fucking with it. Says, nah, Sharpie, just let it be. Let it be. Then we get into Zac Eflin at the Red Sox, number 39 in the black book, striking people out 26.5% of the time, while walking people 3.5% of the time. Open them up 6 plus 100 on FanDuel, where the best line available to that 5.5 is plus 110 on DraftKings. PrizePicks has them at a 5, whereas hits, earned runs, outs are not available on PrizePicks. The projected lineup is 5 righties and 4 lefties. Zac Eflin now gets his second shot at the Red Sox this year, where 21 days ago, Eflin went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, and struck out 7 when the lineup was walking top 5 in the league, not striking out just 18% of their at-bats, and crushing the dog piss out of the baseball with an isolated power of 220. And when I run the projected lineups numbers now, it's a complete 180, as they're now walking middle. They're not walking. They're middle of the pack now in isolated power, and they're striking out 21.5%. That's still a good strikeout percent, guys, but that K percentage was 6% worse the last time he seen them, and he went out there and put up 7. It's been simple, though, betting these Eflin props for me, guys. Is no, I was not on him versus the Red Sox, as I look for guys who whiff, and if they whiff, I run the over, guys. If they don't whiff, then I usually just stay off, as he is an elite pitcher in my eyes. He maybe is an elite strikeout pitcher, but there is times to play him, and the times are when the lineups have whiff in it. Now, I am not going to play him. That's like, at the end of the day, bro, this lineup is disgusting. Unless they do some drastic difference in this lineup and give me a lineup who whiffs, then I'll get in. Now, at the end of the day, I want 6 guys. I want the majority of the lineup to be whiffing. I'm not going to go 5-4. At the end of the day, that's a coin flip in my eyes. I play spots that I think I have full-blown advantages in. And I'll let you know if I'm going to say, all right, man, I'm going to tell these fucks to hold my beer like I did with Castillo yesterday. Everything said no on Castillo's K-prop yesterday, except this motherfucker right here who understands that it wasn't a regular game. It was a playoff type game. So at the end of the day, I am going to look to run Eflin's outs over, as I think this guy comes out and shoves. He went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs versus a team crushing the ball. If I get a lineup that's not crushing the ball, I will look to back Eflin on his outs, not his strikeouts, as I like to think what will cash first, whether it be his strikeouts or his outs. And, you know, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I try to lock in and make one bet. Now, what I may not make one bet in on is this next guy, is I've got a bet in on him, and I may actually double down with his K-prop as well. And I'm not going over on it, as let's talk of some George Kirby, old pussy boy, versus the Astros. Number 48 in the black book, striking people out 22.5% while walking people 2.5% of the time. Opened them up 5.5 at plus 108 on FanDuel, and it dropped to 4.5 minus 152 on FanDuel to the best line now. PrizePicks has them at a 5. I think that's maybe a great spot to hit the under on it, as you get a push, as its hits allowed under over are a 5.5. Projected lineups are 6 righties, 3 lefties. Now, we get George Kirby versus the Astros part 2, with all the chips pushed in. As in the first game back in July, Kirby did the damn thing, going 6.2 innings, allowed 1 earned run while only striking out 3. When the lineup was top 5 in walk percentage, not striking out, while also smashing the ball with a team isolated power of 230. And Kirby went out there and did the damn thing. And when we look at the overall numbers of the Astros the last 15 days, they're damn near the same, guys. They're still not striking out. They're still tops in the league in walking, and they're also top 3 in the isolated power. Yet this time, guys, the lineup has your daddy in it. If you don't know of your daddy, you guys may call him your Don. Your Don, your Dong, call him what you want. He is one of the best hitters in the game, and he wasn't in that lineup the last time this team played. You know who else wasn't in the lineup? Brantley, another guy who's known for making great contact. So, let's talk us a little bit of George Kirby and how I'm going to fade him, as I don't have a bet on the K-prop yet, but I do have a bet. And I learned something about this guy, George Kirby, 2 starts ago. And I'm so glad I seen that post-game interview, as George Kirby has a vagina. Yeah, you heard that right, guys. You heard that here on the Balking Dead first. He has a big, hairy snatchel. I heard his post-game interview, guys, 2 games ago. He complained about being put back out in the game in the 6th inning when he was dominating with less than 80 pitches. Like, who don't want the ball in their hand? And Kirby showed me, guys, when push comes to shove, he's got quit in him. And I can no longer look to bet this guy's over, as I don't look to bet on quitters. Yet, in this time, is it the time to fade him, guys? As when he has faced a team in the top 10 in making contact when they chase, as well as top 10 in whiffing, he hasn't done good. And I started tracking Kirby since May 31st, as he just wasn't the same guy. And since that point, he's seen the Padres, who follow under that category. He got waxed, guys. He didn't make it 4 innings, only gave up 3 strikeouts. Then, guys, he's had that good game versus the Astros we talked about, going 6.2 innings, yet he only had 3 strikeouts. Then he had a couple good games, guys, where he faced the Marlins. He had 10 strikeouts in 6 innings, as well as the Red Sox, where he had 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. And that's just teams, guys, that fall under the category of not whiffing and also making contact when they chase. My key for him has strictly been whiff. And when we go look at the teams that just whiffed and didn't make the chase contact category, he faced the Mets team, guys, where he got butchered again, 3 innings, 3 earned runs with just 3 strikeouts. And that was the only other team. So technically he's 3-2 to the over, guy, or 2-3 to the over when facing a team who whiffs, whether he gets smacked, whether he doesn't get smacked. Now I've got a half unit already on the outs under 17.5 at -105. As like I said, this guy's got bitch in him, and it's not about that, guys. This is a must-win situation for Seattle today. Seattle is a game and a half back of the Astros now, of the last wild card spot. If they lose this game, they are now 2.5 games back with 3 or 4 games to play. They're pretty much out the playoff picture. If George Kirby runs into any trouble, the bullpen is going to be already warmed up. He will have the quickest hook, and I want the most action of this guy running into trouble to hit my bet. And the more I think of it, I just need to move it to a full unit type bet, guys. This guy is going to, my more action at hitting my prop is this guy not going 18 outs. The time he runs into trouble is the time he's pulled out the game. Seattle cannot lose this game. They have to go to the bullpen immediately. So whether he has the good first time through Cole, good second time through Cole, he starts getting in the trouble the third time, I still got fucking action. I already know he's got pussy in him. He might start to quit if he gets pounded on him. And the quick hook is out there, guys. The quick hook is there today. They have to win this game. So I will be moving him to a full unit under 17.5 pitching outs at a -105. Appreciate the chat, guys, for coming in, guys. Without the chat, there would be no Balking Dead. So I'm going to run through those who have given out their best bets or have questions and hashtag WeBePubbin. That's way I know which ones to roll through. Justin up in here with his best bet, Cubs first 5 at a +102, where they're also giving out a bunch of other bets for those who want to. So I've got to run through and look. We're running and running. I'm just running and running. JT's talking about Chicago, Atlanta. Yes, run first inning at a -115. Hopefully it is Chicago scoring the points for our boys. Abel's over both. Oh, he's in the over. Dodgers-Rockies game, total runs. Let's fucking go. We be freaking pubbing. I appreciate you, Big Show, for pulling them up for me, as I'm not that freaking savvy with the sticks. So, LJ's popping in here with the Astros team total over 3.5 -122. Full game at +113. Let's go. It goes with me fading him. Let's go. Let's fuck Kirby up. Get him out early. Occupancy's best bet is the Reds money line at a -120 as well. Yeah, Kirby Panocha, bro. He got Harry Panocha. So, excuse me. Appreciate you guys all. It's been a 50-minute show. That means 50 minutes of me needing to get baked again. So smash the like on your way out. This show is sponsored by PrizePicks. If you haven't, go on over there and use that promo code PubSports. You're going to get a match deposit on your first deposit up to 100, minimum of 25. Until next time, I'm Sharpie's Bets. Our special guest today was Pimp Slap Play of the Day. This show is produced by Big Show Picks, broadcasted to kind of two of the same words, and brought to you by the letters BBW. Until next time, I'm Sharpie's Bets, and I need to get some Panocha, some Kirby Panocha. Yeah!
Keep firing, assholes!
Hey there, folks. I've got some exciting news for you today. We've recently partnered with Pub Sports Radio to bring you some awesome merchandise. If you want to show your support for our channel and rock some seriously stylish gear, you need to head over to https://streamlabs.com/pubsportsradio/merch right now. We've got a wide selection of apparel and accessories that you won't want to miss. From t-shirts to hats, we've got something for everyone. So don't wait.